Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing as it helps out the channel, and give this video a like if you do like it. So this is for Hollywood Canine Canteen, and with me today is my fellow pooch, Matt Hunter. Say hi.
Hey!
It was released in 1946, it's the 471st in the series, and it's directed by Bob McKimson. You can find this on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 6 DVD set. Now, due to copyright, I can't show you the full cartoon here, but in case you haven't seen it, well, there's not really a story, it's just a whole bunch of dogs, most of which are celebrity caricatures, and they're just having a whole bunch of fun. That's it. So the following review is a remix of an audio commentary that I did with Matt Hunter, which unfortunately I had to take down due to a request by Warner Brothers Legal. So grab some popcorn and enjoy. So Matt, this is one of the last few Hollywood Caricature shorts, which is interesting.
It's the second cartoon directed by Robert McKimson, and it's also one in a long string of these things that Warner Brothers did, dating back to the 30s, where I guess it was just easy to write a story because all you have to do is caricature celebrities of the day that everybody knew. Tex Avery did it a couple of times, most famously with Hollywood Steps Out, which was a similar idea. They were all in a nightclub. And then, the Bugs Bunny cartoon, Slick Hair, had a bunch of celebrity caricatures. There was one back in the 30s called Cuckoo Nut Grove. I think that was a Freeling one.
He was, yeah.
But McKimson just, I guess, happened to like doing this. But the gimmick here is that all these celebrities are caricatured as dogs.
Yeah.
So you kind of get a double layer to it. It's not only a caricature cartoon, but you also get a bunch of, dad jokes, dog pun, dogwood. Get it?
Dagwood, dogwood, yep.
Yeah. Harry James.
Harry James, of course, Tommy Doggy, yeah, okay. And I like that Leon Bowowski. That's, I'm a sucker for dad jokes. I mean, I'm a dad myself, so it's like, what do you expect? Yeah. like this gag here with the bone and the
now these characters here, I don't think are particularly caricatures of anybody. They're just kind of period characters. The war was just wrapping up, and so there was a lot of respect for the military.
Now, how would you rate these caricatures? I mean, I think, I know who most of these are already, and I hope the viewers will now know who they are through these titles I'm putting on. But I think these characters are really good. Like, they're not over the top, but they're just right. I mean, what do you think of these caricatures?
Yeah, well, it's different also because they're dogs. It's harder to do a caricature as an animal, than just straight up do a human, with say like, Edward G. Robinson, he was heavy set and he was short and he squinted a lot and he had a really unique voice, see? Yeah. But to do him as a dog is a bit more of a challenge.
Look at those in the background, those portraits, for example, they look really like dog-like, unfinished. It's really, really weird. What's even weirder is that, when you mentioned Coconut Grove, see, that one, for some reason, had a hybrid of animal caricatures and human caricatures. There was no consistency. But this one, I like how there is consistency. They're all dogs.
All dogs, yeah. That background, you notice, that was common in restaurants back in the day, nightclubs, where they would put the portrait of a celebrity who'd eaten there. They put a signed headshot of whoever had been at that establishment, and there would be a wall full of celebrities. So that's kind of what I think they were going for there, even though you can't really tell which ones they are. It's just kind of suggested. I like McKimson, and I don't think he gets enough credit because he was an animator. He was one of the best animators they ever had, dating back to the Harmon and Ising days, and he was there till the bitter end. He made it through the Patty Freeling era in the 60s, and then he came back with the Seven Arts era that lasted for like 2 years in the late 60s. Some of those later cartoons, like, they weren't great, but he had some highlights. He did a really good Roadrunner cartoon after Chuck Jones left.
Yeah.
He did one called Rushing Roulette. And then he followed it up with a second one that wasn't quite as good, but it was called Sugar and Spies. And he created Bunny and Claude in the later years. I mean, there's some good stuff to enjoy from him. All through.
Exactly.
He came up with these brash, loud characters, and he himself was not like that. Unlike, say, Friz Freleng, who everybody said, oh, he's Yosemite Sam.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And unlike, say, Chuck Jones or Friz Freleng or Bob Clampett, he didn't live long enough to really toot his own horn. And I don't think he really would have anyway, because from what I understand, he was a very soft-spoken, very quiet guy. I think he did some great stuff. The last one, his first one that you did, was Daffy Doodles, and that's a certified classic. All his early 50s stuff with Foghorn Leghorn is absolutely hysterical. He did some really good ones with Speedy Gonzales. Of course, he created the Tasmanian Devil. He did a fair amount of Bugs Bunny cartoons that I like. I mean, you know, who hates Rabbit's Kin with Pete Puma?
Oh, I love that.
I'll have a whole lot of lumps.
A whole lot of lumps. What I like is the fact that, sure, we're gonna not see any more of these Hollywood type caricature films, but in the late 50s, McKimson will kind of revisit this along with Ted Pierce and do all those 50s TV parodies, which, as we all know, TV took over essentially. Like cinema viewership was going way down, people watching TV more. So the idea will definitely continue.
Yeah, so you got the Honeymooners as the Honey Mousers. And then there was a Jack Benny parody that actually the Jack Benny cast was in on. They actually did the voices for these mice as them. It was called The Mouse That Jack Built. And then, you know, McKimson would slip in little TV parodies into other cartoons. Like there's a Bugs Bunny cartoon called Witty-O Wabbit that has Bugs doing impressions. At one point he does an impression of Liberace, and then in another he's Art Carney. You know, all of these things that were on TV at the time. So that was kind of a revival of this concept. But really, this was one of the last to full on just be all celebrity caricatures with no discernible plot.
And now on to the rating. Look, this one is really more of a curiosity, I would say, in that you can see all the celebrities of yesteryear, and it's fun to see, you know, who's who at this particular point in time. But in terms of something that's truly entertaining, like a laugh out loud Looney Tunes short, it's not as good. And, you know, I'm going to give this one about a 6.5 out of 10. But, you know what? It's still okay to watch. It's not one of the worst things I've seen. Also, Matt Hunter confirmed with me he would have given this one a 5 out of 10. So, any final thoughts as we wrap this one up?
No, I think that about sums it up.
Yeah, you know, I quite enjoyed this one. It's not the best, but
be sure to watch it with Anthony's captions, because he'll identify. You know, we talked about a couple, but he'll identify who these folks were.
Yeah, exactly. Then use your resources, look them up, because some of these people really are fascinating. They really are. Because if I were to go through every single person, we'd be here all day. So as always, thanks very much for listening, guys. And until next time, take care.
Have a date broken?
No.
Bad news from home?
No. Well, if you must know, you're standing on my foot.